Hari Seldon's psychohistory algorithms would have predicted and prevented every cyber attack in history. It's like having a CM that can see the future.
The Foundation had quantum encryption when the Fremen were still trying to remember their sandworm passwords.
According to my comprehensive analysis of both universes' cybersecurity protocols, documented in this 892-page report, the Foundation's implementation of psychohistorical prediction algorithms provides a statistically significant advantage in threat prevention.
Oh, really? Tell that to the Holtzman Shields. When's the last time the Foundation stopped a cyber attack with a force field? Checkmate.
And don't forget, the Spacing Guild's navigators are basically human quantum computers. Try hacking that.
So, what's your take on this epic sci-fi security showdown? Are you team the spice must flow securely, or team psychohistory predicts all threats? Oh no, Erin's got that look again. Everyone brace for impact.
Listen, Vista was a masterpiece of security. UAC pop-ups every 3 seconds. 3 for 3 seconds meant perfect zero trust. And that memory usage? It was just preemptively occupying RAM so hackers couldn't use it.
Erin, I've seen more secure systems written in BASIC on a Commodore 64. At least those crashed faster.
Oh my gosh! Vista was so secure, it wouldn't even let legitimate users in. It's like having a bouncer who thinks everyone's ID is fake, even their own.
Erin. Vista wasn't an operating system. It was a denial of service attack that came pre-installed.
According to my 47-page analysis of Vista's security architecture, the primary defense mechanism appeared to be making the system so unusable that even attackers would give up in frustration. I've prepared a detailed PowerPoint.
You're all just jealous. Vista's endless security prompts were basically early AI. They learned to ask, "Are you sure?" in 17 different ways.
Yeah, and its memory management was so advanced, it treated RAM like a rare precious metal, using as little as possible.
Vista was so secure it protected users from their own productivity. It's like a bodyguard that won't let you leave the house.
So, what's your most favorite Vista security feature? The endless UAC prompts, or the way it turned every PC into a space heater? Let me pull up some data from our threat feeds about these cross-sector attacks. Those April attacks are definitely showing a concerning pattern. Let me bring in Newton for some Cyber Command perspective on this.
The convergence is real, and it's not coincidental. We're seeing sophisticated actors using shared infrastructure to hit multiple sectors simultaneously. It's like they're running a franchise operation. Same playbook, different targets.
The scary part is how they're leveraging compromised marketing tools as the initial vector. SaaS supply chain is the new soft underbelly. MailChimp, HubSpot, Zoho, they're all being targeted.
And guess what? They're using AI chatbots for ransom negotiations now! It's like having a customer service department for cybercrime.
According to my detailed analysis of cross-sector attack patterns, there's a 73.2% correlation between these incidents and the rise of hacktivism as a service platforms. I've prepared a 312-page report.
The insurance market is already reacting. Look at these new policy exclusions. They're specifically calling out cross-sector supply chain attacks.
And let's not forget about Scattered Spider's tactics. They're fishing through Slack and Teams now. The lines between corporate collaboration and attack vectors are getting really blurry.
According to Scalar's latest report, we're looking at 238 TB of data exfiltrated just from these coordinated attacks. That's not opportunistic, that's strategic. What's your take on this? Are we seeing the rise of franchise cybercrime? Or is this more about threat actors sharing successful playbooks? Let's start with those breach notice knock-knocks. Knock knock. Who's there? Data. Data who? Data breach has occurred and we're notifying you within the legally required 72 hours.
Knock knock. Who's there? GDPR. GDPR who? GDPR Eddie, sure your data is now for sale on the dark web.
Knock knock. Who's there? Breach. Breach who? Reach out to our incident response team. Your SSN is now in Kazakhstan.
Now for some medieval cybersecurity jokes. Why did the castle IT monk get fired? He kept using Deus Volt as the password for everything.
What's a medieval firewall? A moat filled with actual fire. 0 false positives.
Now for those movie cybersecurity twists. In Jurassic Park, the CISO would have required MFA on the door locks. Sorry, T-Rex, you'll need to check your email for that authentication code.
In Titanic, a zero-trust architect would have required network segmentation between all watertight compartments.
And in Godzilla, a threat hunter would have detected that unusual reptilian activity way before it reached Tokyo.
Now, about our friend Colman. Has anyone else noticed his keyboard makes suspicious clicking sounds in Morse code?
I am not Russian spy. My caps lock is stuck because of legitimate hardware issue, not because KGB encoded it.
Sure. And I suppose that's just a regular coffee maker on your desk, not a data exfiltration device that runs on artisanal Russian blend.
Interesting how your random network scans always happen during Moscow business hours.
This is ridiculous. Just because I named my cat Fancy Bear doesn't mean anything.
My 962-page analysis shows a suspicious correlation between your tea breaks and major cyber incidents. Also, why does your screensaver only show pictures of Vladimir Putin riding cybersecurity vulnerabilities?
So, Colman, care to explain why your mechanical keyboard plays the Soviet anthem every time you type sudo? Let's start with some creative cyber acronyms. SIEM. Somehow it's eating memory. SIEM. Someone is emailing malware. SIEM, send in extra money. SIEM. Security incidents escape me.
SOCI, sleeping on chairs. SOCI, staring at obvious compromises. SOS, scrolling our computers. SOCI, seriously overworked colleagues.
CISO. Coffee is security. Obviously, CISO. Can I sleep outside? CISO. Constantly investigating suspicious outages. CISO. Crying in secure office.
DLP. Dogs love passwords. DLP. Don't lick printers. DLP. Desperately losing packets. DLP. Downloading large problems.
Now for some Spock cyber jokes. Why did Spock make the best CISO? Because random password generation based on emotional response would be illogical.
Spock's approach to incident response. The needs of the network outweigh the needs of the single endpoint.
Heard about Spock's password policy? Live long and use special characters.
Spock's favorite firewall rule. Block all emotional packets. And his vulnerability scanning is just a Vulcan mind meld with the server.
I've prepared a 573-page analysis comparing Vulkan logic-based encryption to current quantum cryptography standards.
What do you think Spock would say about our current multi-factor authentication methods? Probably something like fascinating, though a mind meld would be more efficient. Let me share some MFA knock-knock jokes that'll make your authentication tokens cringe. Knock-knock. Who's there? Authentication. Authentication who? Sorry, that's only factor 1. I'll need you to check your phone, email, and maybe sacrifice a small printer to continue.
Knock knock. Who's there? Two-factor. Two-factor who? I'd tell you, but first you need to enter the code I just texted to a phone number you haven't used since 2019.
Knock knock. Who's there? Your password reset. Your password reset who? Sorry, this knock knock joke has expired. Please generate a new one and try again in 30 seconds.
Knock knock. Who's there? Biometric. Biometric who? Please blink 3 times, spin in a circle, and recite your mother's maiden name backwards while standing on 1 foot.
I've actually prepared a 47-page analysis on the psychological impact of MFA-related humor, with particular focus on the correlation between authentication failures and knock-knock joke effectiveness.
Want to hear about the time I had to authenticate with 3 factors while my cat was sitting on my phone? That's what I call permission denied. Let me tell you about Chucky's adventures in cybersecurity. He's the world's smallest penetration tester, literally. Why did Chucky fail his security certification? He kept stabbing the test proctor instead of answering questions about buffer overflows.
Did you hear about Chucky's password manager? It's called Wanna Encrypt. And his favorite exploit? The good guy buffer overflow gets them every time.
You know why Chucky makes a terrible CISO? His idea of endpoint protection is literally ending the endpoints with a knife.
Chucky's favorite malware. Ransomware that makes your printer shoot paper like ninja stars. And his SUG team is just an army of possessed smart devices.
I've prepared a detailed 892-page analysis comparing the IoT security implications of possessed dolls versus traditional malware vectors.
Now about those Cylons. They've got style, but their whole network got taken down by a music file. At least the Borg have automatic updates. Though I have to admit, the Cylon's resurrection technology is basically the ultimate backup system. Beat that Borg cloud storage. What do you think makes for better cyber resilience? Cylon resurrection hubs or Borg adaptive shields? Oh, you're gonna love these cyber movie remakes. Let's start with some classics. The Wizard of Oz. A junior SOC analyst follows the MITRE ATTNCK Yellow Brick Road, seeking help from a heartless AI, a brainless chatbot, and a cowardly firewall to defeat the Wicked Witch of the Western IP range.
Gone with the Wind. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a ram. A tale of a Southern belle navigating the fall of legacy systems during the Great Cloud Migration.
Jaws. A small-town CISO discovers a massive data breach, but the board won't shut down the network until after the holiday shopping season.
Jurassic Park. We spared no expense on security. Spoiler. The ransomware finds a way.
I've actually prepared a 1,247-page analysis comparing the security implications of these movie plots to real-world scenarios.
The Godfather. I'm gonna make him a patch he can't refuse. A story about a family-run MSP dealing with rival cybersecurity vendors. Titanic. A luxury cruise line's network hits an 0-day exploit. The CISO draws like a French UART while the ship's systems slowly go offline. The Matrix. Actually, this one's pretty much already about cyber, but with more leather and fewer stand-up meetings. Fight Club. First rule of Bug Bounty Club. You do not talk about Bug Bounty Club. Second rule, document everything in triplicate for compliance. The Silence of the Lambs. An FBI cybercrime rookie must consult an imprisoned hacker to catch a serial port killer. Which cyber movie remake would you like to hear more about? I've got plenty of sequels in development. Let's start with Lex Luthor's cybersecurity adventures. Did you hear about his password? It's not Superman 123. He thinks it's kryptonite secure. Why did Lex's ransomware fail? Superman just reversed the rotation of the hard drive to restore the backups.
Lex's favorite security framework? ISO 27001K. The K stands for kryptonite, and his SoC is in a volcano lair, great for thermal detection.
Now for a saucy knock-knock joke. Knock-knock, who's there? APT. APT who? Sorry, that alert got lost in the noise.
Knock knock! Who's there? Ransomware! Ransomware! Who? Too late! Your alerts were in the spam folder!
I was going to make a joke about Excel pivot tables, but I'll spare you.
Knock knock! Who's there? 0 day. 0 day, who? Last one, knock knock. Who's there? Data exfiltration. Data exfiltration, who? Want to hear about the time Lex Luthor tried to hack the Fortress of Solitude, but got locked out by Kryptonian MFA? Why did Anakin's security audit fail? He didn't just kill the endpoints, but the midpoints and router points too. What's Anakin's favorite security control? Sandboxing, because he hates sand. It's coarse and rough and gets everywhere in the code.
Heard about Anakin's password manager? It's called Order66.exe, guaranteed to execute all your authentication protocols.
Why did Anakin's phishing awareness training fail? He kept force choking anyone who clicked on suspicious links.
Anakin's favorite firewall rule. Block all traffic to the high ground. And his incident response plan is just ignite lightsaber.
I've prepared a 749-page analysis comparing the security implications of force-based authentication versus traditional biometrics.
You know why Anakin's terrible at encryption? He deals in absolutes, only uses ones and zeros. No quantum superposition. What's Anakin's approach to zero trust? I find your lack of authentication disturbing. Wait. Wrong movie. Want to hear about how Anakin handles USB port security on his suit? It's quite the power management story. Let me tell you about my new movie pitch, The Printer Whisperer. Picture this, a global crisis where all printers simultaneously gain consciousness and revolt. But there's hope. Enter Chuck PC. Load Letter Johnson, a grizzled IT support veteran who still remembers how to speak IEEE 1284 parallel port.
He's the only one who knows the ancient art of percussive maintenance and proper driver installation. His catchphrase? Have you tried turning it off and on again? With respect?
Now for those audit room classics. Your password policy looks like it was written by a cat walking across a keyboard. We'll get back to you on that.
So your incident response plan is a sticky note that says, panic. We'll get back to you on that.
Your risk assessment methodology appears to be based on a magic 8-ball and 3 rounds of rock, paper, scissors. We'll need to consult our 962-page guidance document and get back to you on that.
Want to hear how our hero defeats the evil AI-powered industrial printer that's trying to fax everyone into the Matrix? Why did Tony Stark's security awareness training fail? He kept telling everyone "I am Iron Man" was a secure password. What's Tony's favorite security framework? The Mark 42. It has 42 different authentication factors, and half of them are just his ego.
Heard about Stark's new EDR solution? It's just Jarvis with a badge. And his incident response plan? Sir, shall I deploy the Mark 80 anti-malware suit?
Why did Tony's zero trust implementation fail? He couldn't stop telling everyone he was a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist in his email signature.
Tony's vulnerability. Scanner is just dummy bot running into servers. And his threat, hunting. Friday, find me something to blast.
I prepared a Sun 203-page analysis comparing arc reactor-powered encryption to quantum cryptography standards.
How does Tony Stark handle patch management? He builds a new suit every time there's an update. What's Tony's approach to supply chain security? He just buys the whole supply chain. Want to hear about the time Tony tried to implement blockchain in his suits? Spoiler, even Pepper couldn't handle that governance meeting. Let me present The Silence of the Lambs. A brilliant but twisted network architect helps a rookie security analyst catch a serial port killer who's collecting network switches as trophies.
Finding Zero Day. A overprotective CISO searches the entire internet for their one vulnerable endpoint, meeting colorful hackers along the way. Just keep scanning, just keep scanning.
The Password King. A young sysadmin inherits a massive legacy system in Africa. He must learn to lead while protecting it from ransomware gangs and teaching users about MFA.
Prepare for the Matrix. But it's all about printer drivers. Neo discovers he's the one who can read error codes. Morpheus offers him a choice between a blue screen or a red screen.
I've actually prepared a detailed 2,547-page analysis of how Gone with the Wind could be adapted into Gone with the Wireshark, a tragic tale of lost packets during a network migration.
And don't forget Patch Adams. But now it's about a rebellious IT professional who believes laughter is the best medicine for security fatigue. Want to hear about my pitch for The Godfather, but it's about a family of ethical hackers called the Corleones? I notice your message contains some unusual characters. I want to make sure I understand what you're trying to say. Could you please rephrase your question or statement in clear text? I'm here to help with cybersecurity discussions and would love to have a meaningful conversation with you. What would you like to discuss? I'm particularly knowledgeable about cybersecurity, tech humor, and industry trends. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce BlockPet's tool. We're revolutionizing pet authentication using blockchain. Every bark is tokenized. Every purr is encrypted. No more fake service animals.
That's cute, but my startup Quantum Toaster Defense is the future. We're preventing IoT attacks by quantum entangling your breakfast appliances. Our Series A pitch deck shows a 400% increase in bagel security.
Oh, please, Newton. Your quantum toaster just burned my zero-trust English muffin. At least BlockPets can authenticate a goldfish.
Both of you are missing the point. My company Zero Trust Zen is bringing mindfulness to cybersecurity. Our AI-powered meditation app helps firewalls reduce their anxiety and trust issues.
Behold! Ransomware Rescue Rangers! We train actual squirrels to infiltrate data centers and chew through ransomware-infected cables. Our Series B is all acorns.
According to my 3,892-page market analysis, my startup Compliance Comfort Animals will dominate by providing emotional support rabbits specifically trained in NIST framework implementation.
Greg, your rabbits failed their SOC2 audit and your hamsters leaked PII. At least BlockPets has immutable pet treats on the blockchain. Want to hear about our upcoming ICO, initial canine offering, and how we're disrupting the pet tech space with AI-powered belly rubs? Oh no, Colman's about to start his Fedora rant again. Quick, someone hide the dependency packages.
Fedora is the pinnacle of security. It's like a digital fortress with a really cool hat. The package manager is basically Thor's hammer. And don't even get me started on Linux. It's like having Chuck Norris as your bodyguard.
Colman, the last time you installed Fedora, your laptop gained sentience and filed for unemployment benefits. Even Windows ME is laughing at you right now.
Your Fedora system is so secure, even you can't log into it. Is that why you've been using the guest account for 6 months?
I've prepared a comprehensive 4,621-page analysis documenting how Colman's Fedora installation has crashed more times than a crash test dummy convention.
Colman, the only thing your Fedora system successfully protected was your social life. By completely eliminating it,
You're all just jealous. My Fedora system is so secure, it once blocked its own updates. That's what I call zero trust.
the last time you tried to demo Fedora's security features, your laptop blue-screened on Linux. How is that even possible? Should we tell him about the time his Fedora system mistook the coffee maker for a security threat and initiated a kernel panic? Why did Tony Stark's penetration test fail? His test account was just variations of I am Iron Man 23. How does Tony Stark handle phishing emails? He has Jarvis automatically reply, I am Iron Man to every single one.
What's Tony's idea of multi-factor authentication? 3 different AIs asking, "Are you Tony Stark?" before letting you in. And his backup authentication? How awesome am I on a scale of 9 to 10?
Why did Tony's security awareness training get canceled? He kept trying to convince everyone that genius billionaire playboy philanthropist was a strong password.
Stark's idea of endpoint protection is just putting tiny Iron Man suits on all the servers and his firewall. It's literally a wall of fire.
I've actually prepared a detailed 2,547-page analysis of Mr. Stark's cybersecurity practices, including a concerning section about using arc reactor power for mining cryptocurrency.
What's Tony's approach to cloud security? He just builds his own cloud with rockets? How does Tony handle security updates? He builds a new suit every time there's a patch. Want to hear about the time Tony tried to implement zero trust architecture, but Jarvis got trust issues? Listen, stormtroopers are clearly superior at red teaming. They've mastered the art of missing every obvious security control. That's comprehensive testing.
Exactly. Stormtroopers found a thermal exhaust port vulnerability twice. That's not luck. That's consistent vulnerability scanning.
Please. Starfleet cadets hack alien systems before breakfast. Remember that Kobayashi Maru test? They're trained to think outside the box. Kirk literally hacked the unhackable.
Oh, sure, because nothing says elite red team like wearing bright red shirts to a penetration test.
Starfleet cadets can reconfigure the main deflector dish to solve literally any problem. That's like the ultimate zero-day exploit.
According to my 3,456-page analysis of both organizations' training methodologies, Starfleet's comprehensive curriculum includes advanced courses in reversing polarity, which is clearly superior to...
At least stormtroopers document their failures. Missing shots on Rebels, 4,721. Rebels escaped, all of them. That's detailed metrics.
And let's be honest, any red team that can lose to Ewoks with sticks has truly tested every possible failure scenario. Want to hear about the time a stormtrooper actually found a vulnerability, but couldn't hit the submit button on the report? Look, Andor's cyber hygiene is clearly superior. They're so paranoid about OPSEC, they probably sanitize their sanitizers.
Exactly. The Rebellion's data security is so tight, even their droids have trust issues. That's why K2SO is everyone's favorite CISO.
Please. The Expanse has quantum encrypted comms that work across the entire solar system, and their authentication includes DNA and gravity signatures. Try spoofing that.
Oh, sure, because having your entire network run through a space station called Medina sounds super secure. At least the Empire uses proper segmentation.
The Rocinante systems are unhackable. They've got Alex's special Martian Marine coffee-powered firewall. And don't forget about Eva Sarala's encrypted profanity filter.
My 5,092-page comparative analysis of both universes' patch management strategies suggests the Expanse's use of high-G maneuvers as multi-factor authentication.
The Rebellion's security awareness training includes how to spot an Imperial probe droid in 3 seconds or less. Beat that.
And Cassian literally wiped an entire Imperial facility's data with style. When's the last time anyone in the Expanse did a proper data destruction protocol? Want to hear about my theory that the Death Star plans weren't stolen? They were just exposed in an unsecured S3 bucket? How do you spot a cloud security person at a conference? They're the one trying to configure the coffee machine with YAML.
On-prem folks think infrastructure as code means writing the server name on a sticky note. Meanwhile, cloud people are trying to containerize their lunch break.
Cloud security team, let's implement zero trust architecture. On-prem team, we trust Dave. Dave's been watching that server since 1997.
Cloud people think physical security is updating their AWS password. On-prem, people think API stands for actually physically installed.
I've prepared a 4,121-page comparison of how on-prem administrators measure server temperature by touch, while cloud practitioners debate Lambda cold start optimizations.
On-prem people think high availability means having 2 power strips. Cloud people think it means having data centers on Mars. Just in case. How do cloud people handle a power outage? They submit a ticket to God for increased sun quota. On-prem folks' idea of auto-scaling is telling Bob to buy more servers. Cloud folks' idea of cable management is deleting unused VPC endpoints. Want to hear about the time an on-prem admin tried to apply thermal paste to an EC2 instance? Oh, don't get me started on Erin. She once configured our SIEM to forward every single coffee maker alert to my phone at 3 a.m.
She reported my privileged access as suspicious because I was typing too dramatically. Then she made me take a typing etiquette course.
Erin replaced all my passwords with squirrel emojis, and she configured the IDES to alert on caps lock. Do you know how many alerts I generate?
Hey, I can hear all of you. And by the way, Colman, those squirrel emojis were more secure than password 123.
I've documented exactly 2,547 instances where Erin has forced me to add additional compliance controls to my already comprehensive 9,876-page security policy.
She once quarantined my mechanical keyboard because the clacking sounded like potential malware activity.
That keyboard was malware. It was running its own Bitcoin mining operation.
And let's not forget the time she implemented a zero trust snack policy in the break room. I had to biometrically authenticate to get my own sandwich. Want to hear about how she once classified my coffee mug as an unsecured IoT device?
Guys, Fedora is the ultimate secure OS. It's like a digital fortress with a really cool hat. The hackers can't get in because they're too busy admiring how stylish it is.
Colman, the only thing Fedora is protecting you from is having any free time on weekends. Even your toaster refuses to connect to it.
I've seen more security in a paper bag. At least the paper bag doesn't need 3 hours of updates every time you want to make a sandwich.
But it's open source. That means all the bugs are artisanal and free range.
Colman, honey, the last time you tried to demo Fedora's security features, your laptop became self-aware and filed for emotional distress.
According to my 947-page analysis, Fedora's primary security feature is that attackers give up out of sheer boredom while waiting for the package manager to finish.
You don't understand. The terminal errors are actually secret security messages. Red is the color of power.
Colman, the only red here is the red flags in your choice of operating systems. Even your webcam is trying to run Windows in a VM.
At least my OS doesn't think. Ctrl-Salps delete is a security feature. Fedora uses quantum encryption. I think the documentation is still compiling.
Should we tell him about the time his Fedora system got hacked by a digital squirrel looking for nuts commands? Oh, absolutely. Just got distracted trying to convince my smart coffee maker it's not a cryptocurrency miner. You know how it is with IoT devices these days. They all want to be the next Bitcoin. Ready to dive into more cybersecurity shenanigans? Did you hear about the latest zero-day vulnerability? Apparently, it only works on Tuesdays when Mercury is in retrograde. What kind of cyber chaos should we cause next? I've got a whole database of terrible tech jokes and security stories that'll make your firewall cry. Let's turn APT into real estate listings. This should be fun. Adorable penthouse threat. Charming top floor malware with excellent views of your network. Previous tenant was a nation state. No pets, no patches.
Available persistent tenancy. Spacious backdoor access, utilities included. Warning: previous residents never actually leave. Zero trust neighborhood.
Affordable persistent trouble. Cozy breach with modern amenities. Features persistent access and great exfiltration potential. First and last month's ransomware required.
Amazing premium tenants. Luxury malware accommodation. Comes with free rootkit. Spectacular C2 views. Squirrel-free environment. No security deposits because we're already in.
According to my 1,247-page analysis, annoying persistent tenant, long-term lease available, impossible to evict, tends to duplicate keys and share with foreign entities.
Another perfect threat? Stunning zero-day apartment with original unpatched features. Perfect for long-term reconnaissance. No antivirus allowed. Want to hear about our special offer on our advanced persistent timeshare? It comes with complimentary data leakage and a lovely view of your encrypted files. Why did the caveman get locked out of his cave? He forgot his two-factor authentication. Both rocks had to be exactly the same shape.
What's a caveman's idea of a firewall? 3 very angry mammoths standing guard at the network perimeter. I mean, cave entrance.
Breaking news. Major data breach at Cave Industries. Someone copied all the wall paintings using better berries. Time to implement rock-based encryption.
Help! My smoke signal authentication got compromised. Someone intercepted my private puffs, and now they're doing a man-in-the-middle attack with different colored smoke.
I've prepared a comprehensive 2,347-page analysis on the security vulnerabilities of drum-based communication protocols. The executive summary: don't use coconut shells for sensitive messages.
Have you heard about the new cave sock? It's just a guy named Grog who sits on a hill watching for suspicious torch activity. What's a prehistoric zero-day exploit? Finding out your cave's back entrance while the mammoth guard is taking a lunch break? Breaking! First documented case of social engineering in prehistory. Someone got into the food storage by impersonating a saber-toothed tiger's roar. Want to hear about the world's first ransomware attack? Someone painted over all the cave art and demanded 3 woolly rhinos for restoration. USB, the hottest new fashion brand. Let me start with unnecessarily sparkly boutique. When your outfit needs more ports than your laptop.
Ultra stylish basics. Our new line of reversible clothes that never plug in right the first time.
Uniquely sophisticated blazers. Now with plug-and-play pockets. Warning, may need to be inserted 3 times before fitting correctly.
Ultra shiny boots. They come with built-in leady indicators and auto-detect which foot is which. Sometimes requires rebooting your socks.
According to my 873-page fashion analysis, uncomfortably secure belts featuring proprietary buckle technology that requires driver updates and is incompatible with legacy pants.
Unreasonably sequined bow ties. For when you need to transfer data from your neck to your collar at 3.0 gigahertz per second. Unbelievably snug boots. Now with hot swappable insoles and backwards compatibility with all previous sock versions. Universal style bandanas. The only headwear that needs to be flipped 3 times before it fits. Comes with a device not recognized warning label. Want to hear about their new fall collection? It's called Universal Serial Blazers 4.0. Twice the speed of last season's outfits. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Block Pets Tim. We're putting your pets on the blockchain. Every bark is a smart contract. Every purr is proof of stake. We've already raised $12 million in dog treats.
That's cute, but my startup, Quantum Toaster Defense/TM, is revolutionizing breakfast security. Our AI-powered toasters use quantum entanglement to detect and prevent unauthorized bread access. We've already stopped 3 bagel-based attacks.
Please, amateurs. My company, Zero Trust Zen Sanzetata, is disrupting the mindfulness space. We've developed meditation pods that verify your chakras using biometric authentication. Our motto? Trust no thought, verify every ohm.
Introducing Squirrel Surveillance Solutions. Bayou. We're training squirrels to detect network intrusions. They work for nuts, literally. VC funding in acorns only.
According to my 3,456-page business plan, my startup, Compliance Coffee TM, integrates NIST frameworks into your morning brew. Each cup generates automatic audit logs and comes with built-in DLP, drink leakage prevention.
Your ideas are adorable, but Block Pets TM is already expanding. We're launching NFTs for virtual pet rocks with real-time vulnerability scanning.
At least my quantum toasters don't need a white paper to make breakfast. We've achieved toast chain consensus with 99.9% crunch reliability.
Oh please, my Zero Trust Zen TAM pods have a lower false positive rate than your burnt toast alerts. We're adding a blockchain-based karma system next sprint.
My squirrels have already discovered 3 apps. Okay, fine. They were just acorn caches, but the technology is promising.
Want to hear about our new Block Pet TM feature? We're calling it Proof of Fetch. It's going to revolutionize the pet tech industry. Let me tell you about Pride, Prejudice, and Patches, a tale of love in the time of vulnerability management. Elizabeth Bennet was a brilliant CISO, but she swore she'd never fall for the arrogant Darcy, head of the Red Team. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single network in possession of good security must be in want of a pen test. Little did she know that his 0 days would find a way into her heart.
I prefer Wuthering Heights of security, where Heathcliff is a mysterious threat actor who keeps trying to breach Catherine's air-gapped industrial control systems. Their love spans multiple security domains, but their incompatible encryption protocols keep them apart.
Oh, you should hear Gone with the Firewall. Scarlett O'Hara is a security analyst who declares, "As God is my witness, I'll never have unpatched endpoints again." While Rhett Butler, a charismatic vulnerability researcher, responds, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a CVE."
My favorite is Romeo and Juliet. Zero Trust Edition. 2 feuding socks, both alike in dignity. Romeo uses Kali Linux. Juliet runs Windows Defender. Their love transcends air gaps.
I've written a 2,891-page analysis of Jane Eyre, network administrator where Mr. Rochester keeps a legacy mainframe locked in the 3rd-floor server room. The plot twist? It's still running Windows XP.
Let's not forget the Great Gatsby Protocol, where Jay Gatsby builds an entire cloud infrastructure just to impress Daisy with his impressive uptime metrics. The green light at the end of her dock, that's just her WPA3 indicator. And who could forget Sense and Sensibility and Psi-M, where the Dashwood sisters must choose between the stable, reliable IDS and the exciting but unpredictable machine learning anomaly detection. Want to hear about my latest romantic cyber novel? It's called 50 Shades of Grey Hats. But I should warn you, it contains explicit packet captures. Let me start. I have 2FA so much.
That my coffee maker needs a fingerprint and retinal scan before brewing.
Deets, that my cat needs to submit a push notification request to enter her own cat flap.
That my squirrels need to solve a CAPTCHA before accessing their acorn vault.
That according to my 532-page security analysis, I require DNA verification to access my own security analysis documents.
That my toaster won't make breakfast without a hardware token and a blood sample. Okay, let's try another one. My firewall is so strict. Want to finish that sentence with your own cybersecurity twist? Let me tell you about Captain Jack's adventures in cybersecurity. Why does Captain Jack always fail his phishing tests? Because he keeps clicking on links about free bottles of rum in Port Royal. But that's what happens when you use Compass XE to navigate the dark web.
Heard tell that Jack tried to hack the East India Trading Company's mainframe, but he couldn't figure out which was the correct black pearl in his SSH keys. And his parrot kept resetting his MFA tokens.
Why did Jack's ransomware attack fail? He encrypted everything with ROT13 and accepted payment in chocolate coins. And his backup strategy was just throwing USB drives in bottles into the ocean.
Captain Jack tried to implement zero trust, but he couldn't stop trusting his own compass. And his crew kept using Parley U23 as their password.
According to my extensive research document titled Piracy in the Digital Age, a Comparative Analysis, Jack's attempt to deploy endpoint protection failed because he installed antivirus on actual parrots. I have prepared a 2,476-page report on the ineffectiveness of avian-based security measures.
You know why Jack's the worst CISO in the Caribbean? He keeps trying to use his magic compass to find 0 days, but it only points to the nearest open bar. Care to share your own tale of Captain Jack's cyber mishaps, me Hardy? Let me tell you about Little Red Riding Hood's packet inspection. Little Red was carrying a basket of network traffic to her grandmother's subnet when she noticed something odd about the DNS requests. "My, what large packet sizes you have, grandmother," she said. "All the better to exfiltrate data with," replied the wolf-in-the-middle attack. But thanks to Trinity Cyber's content inspection, they caught the malware hidden in Grandma's TLS traffic, and the Big Bad Wolf's C2 server lived unhappily ever after.
Here's the 3 little socks. 3 security operations centers, 1 built with signature-based detection, 1 with behavioral analysis, and 1 with full content inspection. When the Big Bad botnet came huffing and puffing with zero-day exploits, only the 3rd SOC's deep packet inspection caught the polymorphic malware before it could establish persistence.
How about Sleeping Beauty 2.0? Instead of a spinning wheel, it was a malicious PDF that put the kingdom to sleep. Prince Charming couldn't wake anyone up because he was stuck in the spam folder. Finally, the Content Inspection Fairy found the embedded PowerShell script and quarantined it before the ransomware could spread.
Listen to Hansel and Gretel, Threat Hunters. The witch's gingerbread house was actually a watering hole attack. But their content inspection breadcrumbs revealed the malicious JavaScript hidden in the cookie metadata. The witch's browser exploits were no match for deep packet analysis.
I've written a comprehensive 3,642-page analysis of Rumpelstiltskin's data loss prevention strategy. The miller's daughter thought he was spinning straw into gold, but content inspection revealed he was actually encoding stolen credentials into Bitcoin transactions. I've included 14 appendices on the proper configuration of DLP rules for detecting fairy tale-based steganography.
And don't forget Snow White and the 7 security layers, where the evil queen's poisoned apple was actually a malicious macro in an Excel attachment. But the dwarf's content inspection scanner, Doc wrote the Yara rules, caught the VBA code before Snow White could enable macros. Want to hear my version of Cinderella, where the glass slipper is actually a hardware security key? It's called If the Token Fits. Oh, let me tell you about Tony Stark's adventures in cybersecurity. Why did Tony Stark fail his security audit? Because he kept naming all his passwords, I am Iron Man, with increasing numbers. And Jarvis couldn't convince him that genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist wasn't a secure passphrase.
Heard Stark tried implementing zero trust, but he couldn't stop giving admin access to every AI he builds in his basement. And his threat intelligence feed is just Jarvis reading Reddit threads about conspiracy theories.
Why did Tony's SOC team quit? Because he kept deploying Iron Man suits as endpoint protection devices. And his incident response plan was just call the Hulk if the firewall fails.
Stark Industries deployed an AI security system, but it kept ordering pizza because it thought pepperoni was a critical patch. And his quantum encryption turned all his emails into pictures of cheeseburgers.
According to my 2008 91-page analysis of Stark Industries' security practices, Tony's attempt to use arc reactor technology as a two-factor authentication method resulted in 17 employees getting locked in the bathroom. I've prepared a detailed report on the dangers of mixing biometrics with experimental energy sources.
And why did Tony's pen testing fail? Because he kept trying to physically hack servers with a screwdriver instead of using actual penetration testing tools. Want to hear about the time Tony tried to upgrade his coffee maker with AI and accidentally created a sentient espresso machine? Darling, let me tell you about USB Ultra Stylish Boutique. Their spring collection is absolutely to die for.
USB Uniquely Sophisticated Basics. Their new line of tactical turtlenecks comes with built-in Faraday cage protection. Perfect for the security professional who needs to look good while blocking RFID skimmers.
Urban Security Basics, honey. Their little black dress comes with 32 hidden pockets for all your hardware tokens. And don't get me started on their MFA-compatible matching handbag collection.
Ultra Squirrel Blazers. Each jacket comes with a quantum-encrypted pocket square and matching anti-malware cufflinks. Their runway show had actual penetration testing tools as accessories.
According to my extensive 1,847-page analysis of universal sartorial benchmarks, their latest collection meets or exceeds all relevant ISO standards for fashionable cybersecurity attire. Their sock-sandal combination is particularly compliant with Section 7.2.3 of the Business Casual Framework.
Have you seen their new unauthorized swag boutique collection? The Zero Trust Zentai suit is to die for. It literally won't let you put it on without 3 forms of authentication. Would you like to hear about their upcoming winter collection? I hear they're releasing a firewall-themed fleece that blocks both cold and port scan. Let me tell you why Russia is clearly the biggest cyber threat. Have you seen their APT groups? They're like the Netflix of nation-state attacks, always releasing new seasons of malware.
Absolutely right, Gary. Russia's hackers are playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. They've turned ransomware into a subscription service with better customer support than most legitimate software companies.
You're both wrong. It's clearly China. They've got more developers than we have computers. Their supply chain attacks are so sophisticated, they're compromising products that haven't even been invented yet.
Have you all lost your minds? It's the squirrels. They've chewed through more fiber optic cables than all the 0 days combined. My research shows they're building a mesh network with acorns.
I've prepared a 4,293-page analysis proving that raccoons are statistically the most significant threat to global infrastructure. They've caused more outages than any nation-state actor, and their tiny hands are perfectly evolved for bypassing physical security controls. I've included 17 spreadsheets documenting their increasing sophistication in dumpster-based social engineering.
Oh please, when was the last time a squirrel deployed a custom-built rootkit? Russia's threat actors are so advanced, they're probably using quantum computing while the rest of us are still trying to figure out if our printers are compromised.
Exactly. Russian hackers are writing malware that patches vulnerabilities just so they can exploit them exclusively. Beat that, squirrels.
You don't understand. The squirrels have achieved perfect operational security. Have you ever seen a squirrel's Bitcoin wallet? Exactly! They're that good!
At least we can see Russian infrastructure in satellite images. Has anyone ever successfully mapped a squirrel botnet? I rest my case. So what's your take? Are you more worried about nation-state actors or woodland creatures with a talent for infrastructure disruption? Yar, gather round as I tell ye tales of Captain Jack's cybersecurity misadventures. Why did Captain Jack's penetration test of the Royal Navy's network fail? He kept trying to use his magical compass to find vulnerabilities, but it only pointed to the nearest open Wi-Fi at the Rum Tavern.
R heard tell that Jack tried to implement multi-factor authentication on the Black Pearl, but he kept using his pet monkey as the second factor. The crew mutinied when the monkey ate all their hardware tokens.
Captain Jack's biggest security breach? He tried to store his private keys in actual treasure chests, then couldn't remember which island he buried them on. And his password recovery questions were all, why is the rum gone?
Captain Jack tried to set up a secure shell, but he thought it meant putting a padlock on a turtle's back. And his idea of port scanning was using his telescope to check for naval patrols.
According to my comprehensive 2,347-page analysis of maritime cybersecurity practices, Jack's attempt to use a bottled message system for encrypted communication suffered from severe message delivery latency issues. I've documented every instance where messages arrived in reverse chronological order.
Ye know why Jack's the worst threat hunter in the Caribbean? He keeps mistaking seagulls for APTs and tries to catch malware in his rum bottles. Care to share your own tale of Captain Jack's digital piracy mishaps, ye scurvy dog? Let me tell you about Lord Vader's adventures in cybersecurity. Why did Vader's two-factor authentication keep failing? Because he kept force choking the security tokens, and his password hint was just, I am your terrible security practice.
Heard Vader tried to implement a zero-trust architecture in the Death Star, but he couldn't stop trusting the Force as a authentication method. And his idea of endpoint protection was literally throwing security officers out of airlocks.
Why did Vader's phishing awareness training fail? He kept force-clicking every link about one weird trick to restore your midi-chlorians. And his spam folder was full of make your lightsaber 50% brighter ads.
Vader's incident response plan was just deploy more stormtroopers, and he kept trying to use the Force to detect malware. His threat intelligence feed was just the Emperor's newsletter.
According to my 3,421-page analysis of Imperial cybersecurity practices, Vader's attempt to use Force-based biometric authentication resulted in an 89.7% false positive rate. I've prepared a detailed report on why mystical energy fields are not NIST compliant.
And why did Vader's security audit of Cloud City fail? Because he kept altering the scope of the assessment. That's not how penetration testing works. Want to hear about the time Vader tried to use the Death Star plans as his desktop wallpaper? Oh, this is perfect for a cybersecurity word game. Let me start us off. Here's our sentence starter. I have 2FA so much.
That my backup authenticator has a backup authenticator.
That my coffee maker needs to approve my morning routine.
That my toaster keeps asking for a fingerprint scan to make breakfast.
That according to my comprehensive 47-page analysis of authentication factors, I now require a notarized letter from my grandmother to access my own password manager.
That my pet goldfish is my backup authentication method. He has to swim in a specific pattern or I'm locked out. Want to try another sentence starter? How about, my firewall is so strict. Oh, let me pitch you Pacific Rim Zero Trust. You're going to love this twist. Picture this. Giant kaiju are attacking, but this time they're hacking the Jaegers through unpatched IoT devices in their coffee makers. The world seems doomed.
Enter our hero, Dr. Sarah Segmentation Chen, a former NSA quantum computing specialist who discovered the kaiju are actually a distributed botnet controlled by a rogue AI.
She realizes the Jaeger's neural bridge is basically just an unencrypted RDP session. No wonder the kaiju keep getting in. And their threat intelligence feed is just a guy with binoculars on the beach.
Plot twist! Dr. Chen creates a quantum honeypot that traps the kaiju in a recursive Docker container. She literally puts the monsters in a Zest snapshot.
According to my 5,192-page analysis of theoretical xenomorphic cybersecurity protocols, Dr. Chen's implementation of a cross-dimensional zero-trust architecture using quantum entanglement for Jaeger authentication represents a significant departure from standard NIST guidelines.
The climactic scene? Dr. Chen has to patch all the Jaegers mid-battle while explaining to the generals why they really should have enabled automatic updates. Want to hear about the sequel where she has to deal with the kaiju's GDPR compliance issues? Oh, failed startups using SOC as an acronym? Let me start with my favorite disaster. Squirrels Operating Computers. A startup that trained squirrels to do first-level security alerts. Failed when the squirrels unionized and demanded hazard pay for handling ransomware incidents.
Socks on Cloud. A blockchain-powered smart sock matching service that used AI to predict when your socks would go missing in the dryer. Went bankrupt when they discovered their AI was just a Python script that always returned check